G'day, guys. Got a bit of a straight to YouTube special today. Um, Something I just needed to pull attention to came up last night, and I just wanted to do justice to my favorite pro player, or better put, maybe my favorite high elo player, Caidos 101. We know Caidos well. We've got a whole section of our YouTube dedicated to him. He's a chef and a cook, and he loves his infantry play. And he's actually playing in a tournament at the moment, which is really exciting. It's not something that often happens. We have the Aussie Ascension, hosted by Talandina on the Oz New Zealand Discord. And there's a few different divisions in play. And this is a round one matchup, game one of a round one matchup in Division 1. And Caidos is playing against Vamia. Now, we know about Caidos, so I'm just going to give a quick rundown on my understanding of Vamia. I've seen Vamia from afar, and Vamia is someone who's almost got an 1800 team game rating, but isn't seen in 1v1 action on the ladder. Vamia is someone who's known for having incredibly clean, quick, aggressive builds, and has immaculate macro behind high aggression. Vamia with 2 archers on your wood line is not something you want to come up against. So we're not talking about, a random ladder player. We're talking about someone who operates at an incredibly high level and with incredible clean level or incredible clean amount of skill. It's going back to Caidos. So the first kind of expose we did on him was his Lithuanian Instadrush build that he's meticulously figured out over time on the ladder. Now, remember, this was something that was really possible with early Lithuanians because they had an extra food bonus at the start that got nerfed. So he does have 200 extra food. It used to be 300. Caidos has still figured out how to make this Instadrush work with the food nerf. It's something he does consistently on Arabia on the ladder, and something he has even made a build for on his own YouTube where he discusses it in detail. I'll link that in the info so you guys can go there and have a look at it. So this is not a one trick from Caidos. This is not a meme. This is his strategy. This is his playstyle, and this is the most immaculate Caidos that you see. So we're playing on Rocky Forest, and I'll get us started off because obviously we see the barracks come down immediately. Normally it would be 2 houses, but it is house and barracks. And we're just going to focus on what Caidos does here, because Rocky Forest, the wood line can't be walled in. So it's very open map. So 1 vill to wood, 2 vills to sheep. And you can see his food still very nice, whereas Vamia's got it all in the queue for vills. So instantly, as soon as the barracks is completed, 2 militia are out. He's on 6 pop. He's not yet house capped, pop capped. He's got a 2nd vill going to wood. Now this is going to be important because he is going to need that 2nd house pretty shortly, and he's going to need to get loom shortly as well. So the 2nd militia will pop. He's scouted around his base. He's scouting with his sheep as loom comes in and the house goes down. So at this point, we've got 1 second of idle TC time, where a minute and a half or 2 minutes into the game, we've got 2 militia. We've found all our sheep and we're going forward. So I'm just going to go to the APM screen here, and you can see Vamia has speed, right? So Vamia is going to be able to react, and we're going to go look at Vamia already pushing deer. And this is probably a really critical part of this matchup, is this house here. I really like it because it's giving vision close to the wood line. So I think this is really intelligent by Vamia, as this deer trolls him a little bit. And the militia come in. So the scout comes this way, and Caidos very quickly goes, okay, no wood line. Now, he could have continued along. He could have kept going. But he decides, all right, I'm going to go to the other side of the opening. But then he sees the house. So not only does it give Vamir vision, it gives Caidos vision. And watch this. Caidos goes with the scout and then the militia pop out, avoiding the vision incredibly well there. And the Vil starts to fight back. And the militia get in. And this drush hits so early, there's no loom. So that's one Vil down. And still only 2 seconds of idle TC time. And whilst we're doing this, we're pulling boars in, we're microing our sheep, we're dropping houses. We're doing this in a tournament. At a high enough level tournament, a couple of 1800s. And getting incredible results. Now, Vamir pulls a boar in, relocates to stragglers. You know, Vamir's playing this incredibly well here. And this is where Caidos just starts to cook. Vamir can't push the... Like, Vamir had the presence of mind to be like, all right, I can't do anything. I'll get everyone under my TC and I'll push deer. But the militia kill the deer. The house, which was, I thought, a really, really good tactical placement for Vamir, is now in danger of being destroyed. Vamir gets loom. He knows that his Vils are going to be too weak to this. But also, it gives him time to get a house up, because we're going to see... Vamir's at 16 or 20 pop, but now 16 of 15 pop. So that was a pretty critical loom timing from Vamir. And at this point, there's 0 seconds of idle TC time. And still 0 seconds of idle TC time, which is impressive. Now, Caidos goes out to mill and rushes a house at the same time. So we're seeing the first little bit of idle, and this is due to being housed, but has also taken map control with this investment. Resources collected, Vamir's slightly ahead. Obviously, Caidos got loom earlier, so has had less Vils on the field. And Vamir does something again, which I think is incredibly intelligent here. And makes a mining camp, which is his second building, rather than rushing a second safe woodline. So I think, just again, there's some presence of mind. There's a really strong reaction, and Vamir here traps a militia, gets some good value. Does have 9 gold in his Vil's hands at the moment. And then goes to cut a tree, so that's a bit disappointing. But pushes the militia back, has loomed Vils, and now has access to the woodline whilst he's clicked up. So Vamir actually reacting incredibly, incredibly well here, right? Very, very difficult situation to be in. And Vamir, with 3 seconds of idle TC time, is up on 19 pop. Caidos, in the meantime, has also clicked up with only the 21 seconds idle TC time, is making his first lumber camp, and is getting some good value out with 4 Vils on the deer. So the insta-drush, I think, in terms of like perceived value, it's got 1 Vil kill. It's got barely any idle TC time. It's got barely any idle economy time. But it's pushed Vamir off wrong resources. It's made him go to stragglers earlier. It means there's no food under his TC. It means he's 0 on food. And he can't quite get his range out in time. It comes down now. So it's just, for someone who is known for clean, quick, and aggressive builds, he's behind the 8 ball for where he'd like to be, to the point where Caidos now gets up and can drop a range instantly. So the range completion time is really important here. Caidos is halfway up. So by the time the first archer comes out, Caidos will be ready, as we see him on, not on gold, but ready to go for skirms. Vamir, very good again. Sends the scout forward. Doesn't bother too much about tracking the militia. They can't do a lot of damage now, and they're not going to get upgraded, so they've done their work. But they're just getting some more value. They take the HP off the spear. They took some HP off the archer, and he keeps them alive really, really well. Vamir, in the meantime, going forward for the first time. Starting to scout the base, sees the barracks. I wonder what he thinks when he sees that. But we see the first archer gets picked off by the scout. Militia picking off, like fighting a Vil, gets picked off. The Archer HP. So with only one Archer on the field, there's now 3 speedy Lithuanian skirms on the field. And this is in a tournament, as we see the scout go down, but now the army's all there for Caidos is a bit of a just passing. And a good tower from Vamia. And this is actually a perfect tower because this protects wood and gold, which is really important playing archers. And the next most important thing for Vamia is here's Saracens. So it's actually quite easy to drop a market and equal things out. Now the scout is coming home because we do have skirms in our base, and Caidos been a little bit of a nuisance with 3 skirms. And this archer, Vamia, is just going straight for the economy. And Caidos should see it, but is fighting Vils with skirms instead. And a second scout comes out here. And this is Vamia's food economy again. So the skirms are getting a lot of value. And like, it all just stems back to that insta-drush. Vamia with 1 archer has found Caidos' woodline. And this could be quite a problem for him. But does just get punched down. And are we house at the same time? Not quite. We just needed a house. As it's Vils versus ranged units at the moment for both players. As we see, what's happened is Caidos' economy, with little to no pressure on it, has flourished. He's got farms coming down. He's got bid axe. He's got everything he kind of needs for a really clean feudal age. And he's 5 Vils up because the idle TC time crept in because Vamia was forced to choose economy over army and was behind and has now lost 4 Vils. So the 3 Vils chasing the skirms plus the 1 from the militia. And this is where everyone kind of maybe discredits this play because it's a bit aggressive, but the value behind it has been the safe macro, and the value behind it has been just controlling a map that's really hard to control. As we see 2 little micro nerds, this will be fun to watch the APM. And again, Vamia doing so much right. Has got a blacksmith down, has got the market down, has got fletching now. Caidos does not have fletching. And Vamia just goes straight forward. Now there's 3 skirms here, but without fletching, this ball of 5 archers, and he micros them immensely into the minimum range the entire time. Like, this is really, really impressive, and sneaks 2 Vils out. So, like, despite this, Vamia is playing at an incredibly high level and is an incredibly good player. And, like, you know, this is some high-level Age of Empires. So, 3 archers left. The skirm's still at the back of the base. Two skirms chasing. And a great defensive tower here from Caidos. So, defending well enough, because that could have been very dangerous if he'd let that hit his woodline. And we do have a leftover skirm at home, which is quite nice. As the tower comes up in good time, because we had skirms in place. And we're not going to have too many issues here. And we just look at the res bank, and Caidos is very close to being able to click up. And Vamia, look, farms have come down. Eco's getting balanced. We've got enough for production of archers. We've got good numbers on food. But we haven't even taken our berries yet. And this is just the pressure. The pressure that has come in has forced Vamia into a challenging position. As we see the initial 2 skirms still in the base, being kept alive, being a nuisance, keeping army at home. And we come back to see that there's only a minute idle TC for our Lithuanian player here. So I don't want this to be too much of a Caidos simp, because I think Vamia actually, like, reacts incredibly well and plays really well. But we know how much I love Caidos, and we know how proud I am of him to see him pulling this out in a tournament. It's super exciting. And again, Vamia, like, doing the right things, pushing forward, but the skirm numbers are too strong, and Castle Age is only a minute away. We see a manual farm placement. Too much APM to use auto farm. Wish I had that problem. And this second range, Caidos just sitting around it nicely. Having scouted it helps, because if he had missed it, that could have been a real good way for Vamia to get units in. And Caidos just defending. I think we can just forward up a little bit from here, because we're mostly trying to focus on what the Instadrush has done, but it is a quite entertaining game, so we'll keep watching it as Caidos comes into forward siege, gets Bodkin, drops a couple of knights, and Vamia, with actually just a little bit of market abuse, does manage to get his way up. That poor deer being attacked by skirms, luckily they can't hit. And so Vamia, not that far behind now. And Caidos starting to idle TC a little bit, but in a good position. And the archers are going to push the knights away, but this is now giving time for that mango to come through. As we see, Caidos goes under the tower, sends the knight under, doesn't get a lot of value with those knights. Really good job to repair. And Vamia, again, with archers everywhere. And now crossbow. Bodkin's not far away. And Caidos doesn't have elite skirm yet, but microing his skirms. Look at the micro. These on both of these players, and Vamia getting a siege workshop up as well. But two mangoes going straight for the archery range, which is, for me, like, watching this live, I thought you hit the tower, you raid the wood line, you push in on the TC. But we've got knights on this range, and we've got mangoes on this range. And what's happening is, Vamia's economy is now in a position where it needs to produce mangonels to defend against the opponent's mangonels, which means each mangonel is basically an archery range. So the ability to replenish the archery ranges is not going to be there. Our wood position is just not going to be strong enough because there's so much pressure coming in. So all of a sudden, we've got one range to produce from, and that's under fire. And we've got three mangoes from our opponent. The aggression here from Caidos is sublime. But Vamia is holding so nicely behind it. Like, again, and we're going to see Vamia take the first trade as well. I think there was a little bit of a HP hit from Caidos there. But the range is down. It's 2-to-1 mangoes. We're trying to get a new range up now. So getting that one for trade, really good, because it means we can invest in a mango rather than invest in a range rather than a mango. And the speedy skirm's kind of helping out a little bit to dodge those mango shots as well. So many of the Lithuanian bonuses coming into play here. Mango behind a wood line, getting some value there. And a really good attack around there from Caidos. And leveling it up, but mango already on the way. These are very good players. This mango just chilling out the back here. And we get archer production back in. Couple of knights here and there getting their value. Knight's going to be really good at pushing the mango back and allowing the skirms to engage on the archers here. So just whittling those numbers down. And Caidos gets a good shot, but Vamia gets the kill, but then goes down to the skirms. And these speedy Lithuanian skirms just making it impossible for these Saracen archers to push out. And then just look behind this. We've got 2 TCs, we've got farms, we've got eco upgrades, we've got map control. Like the economy behind this insane push from Caidos has been like just absolutely mind-boggling for me. The next mango comes out. With one knight, we've dragged the archers out of position. We've got skirms rotating around the back of the base. We've got this mango out here. We've got this mango here. We're housed again. And again, just the reaction, like, sees the mango, pulls the skirms away, and like, great attack round from Vamia there. But if these weren't lith skirms, I don't think we get the same value. And again, it just seems to be every time Vamia looks away, Caidos is there. Skirm's idling eco, Skirm's finding out where he is. You know, just positioned really well, dragging this archer ball in and out of position. A real good attack round again from Caidos. And he's starting to really get on top on this Mango war. Mango's on the wood line again. And it's just a choke now. Like, we've got Vils microing down. A Mango pops just as 3 Knights. That's really unfortunate. Come through. The Knights see it. The Knights dive it straight away. And that Mango's lost. And Caidos is just suffocating, and Vamia gives the GG well played. And, like, that was an incredible match. There's so much we couldn't really comment on, but I want people to know that this is no fluke, this is no meme, this is no accident. This is Caidos 101. And Caidos is one of the most entertaining players of Age of Empires for a reason in my mind. And I'm really excited to see what else he can pull out in the rest of Aussie Ascension. Like I said, this is only round 1. This is a Swiss stage. There's going to be a lot more Caidos to see. And also, I'm pretty excited to see what Vamia comes up with. Having seen Vamia mostly in a team game setting, I like what I saw here in terms of how he reacted to being put in a position I think that wouldn't be comfortable for him. So I'm pretty keen to see Vamia shrug this off and come back in another part of the Swiss stage. The whole set was casted by the Disappointed Invader, so if you go to his Twitch, you'll be able to see that there. And you'll be able to see what happens in the rest of the best of 3. This was game 1. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and I hope you have a lovely day.